Okay, we're at Bucks and Bulls Archery again, and as you all know, I'm Gary, but I'm going to show you a couple. I got 6 different releases here. I'll show you, I'm going to go over each one of them quick and just show you how they work, and maybe just touch a little bit on the importance of why they work like they work. And the first one is this wrist strap. This is a wrist strap caliper release, and this one is just activated with your index finger, and this is probably what 99% of the hunters use. When you draw back, you put your finger on a trigger, and you just squeeze the trigger, and it shoots. If you guys really wanted to get into it, I can show you the proper way to work your finger on the trigger. A lot of people just draw back and just hammer it like that, and that's really bad. And I can show you the good way to do that. The right way. And this particular release, it folds back like this, so if you're rattling horns or climbing in a tree or whatever you're doing, you got free hands, then you can flip it back to hunt. Hooks on your D-loop. Pretty much everybody shoots a release like this. I actually hunt with a little bit of a different one. It's activated the same way with your index finger. This one has a 0 trigger travel. But what I like about it is I can hang it on my D-loop like this when I'm hunting. If my bow's hanging in a tree and I have free hands, and when I grab my bow and my release, I'm ready to go. I don't have to worry about even clipping it on, it's already there. Okay, and again, this one has 0 trigger travel. So when I get into these next releases and I show you how they work with back tension, this one I can shoot with back tension because I get my finger on the trigger and I don't move my finger at all. I just pull my back to make the release activate. See how my finger is still, and it just makes it activate by pulling with my back and not pounding the trigger and making bad shots. That's another one. This is called the Concho Fletch Hunter. The reason I use it is, like I said, I just hang it on my bow and I got free hands. Okay, the third one would be the thumb activated release. This one too, a lot of people hunt with these, and it's made so you can hang it on your bow and it won't fall off like that. And then then again, if you're hunting, you just grab it like this and you're ready to go. You don't have to even look to hook it on, it's all done already. And then to activate it, there's a right and a wrong way to shoot this too. You hook it on your D-loop, and a lot of people buy a thumb release and then they take their thumb and they go like this to shoot it. That's terrible. That's about the worst way to shoot a thumb release. The proper way, I'll just show you quick. If you wanted to get into it, you could come into the store and I'll show you more about it. But the proper way would be to lay your thumb on the trigger, aim really hard, and just pull with your shoulder blade really gentle until it fires. Like, so you're not punching it and twitching, you're just pulling gently until it shoots. Okay, that'd be your thumb activated. Now, this one, there's very few people hunt with these releases, but it's a 100% back tension release. You have to be able to draw your bow back with your index finger, then you rotate the release until it clicks, and once it clicks you hold that tension there, and then you switch to your right shoulder blade and you pull until it fires. If you watch this shot real quick, this would be a bad shot. If I draw back and get on the target and hit the trigger, you see how everything went to bad. Now I'll put this one on. I'll draw back, rotate a little bit. Now I'm all set up. Now I'm going to pull with my right shoulder blade. You'll see how smooth the release is. See, you just nice smooth release without flinching. And this one's actually called a hinged release. Probably the best release for training to make good shots. This is another hinged release, but this one's it's a lot heavier. It's called heavy metal. It just, with a heavier release, you'll have a more solid anchor point, and then when you do break away from the string, it'll be a better follow through because it's more weight. And now we have a resistance release. I don't know anyone that hunts with this release, but it's probably the best training release out there. What you do on this one, you hold the thumb in like this, then you draw back with your 4 fingers. You don't draw back with your thumb, the thumb just holds this in. And when you get her back, you're anchored and you're aimed. You take your thumb off. Now you switch to your right shoulder blade and you pull real slow until it shoots. So what it does, you use your right shoulder blade. It's a big slow muscle that moves slow, and I add weight to all my fingers with my shoulder blade until it fires. And what that'll do is it'll teach you how to aim, because you have to aim. You aim really hard until it shoots. You just draw back, relax, aim, take your thumb off. Now I'm going to pull with my shoulder blade. I'm going to aim and aim and aim and aim and aim, and it shoots. It's a total surprise. The arrow's out of the bow, and it hits right behind the pin, and there's a less human error because it's a surprise, and it's gone without flinching or jerking or twitching. And anyway, I got all these releases here at the store. If anybody's interested in trying any, you probably have to set up an appointment. Sometime we get together for hours so, and I show you how these work. Thanks.
This year's 2018 Wisconsin State Taxidermy Championships are coming to Holiday Inn in Stevens Point again this year. Saturday, February 24th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. they will be open to the public, so you can come in and see their incredible artwork. Find out how you can become a member of the WTA and learn from the leaders in taxidermy. For more information, go to WTAINC.org and also find them on Facebook. See you there, Saturday, February 24th at this year's Wisconsin State Taxidermy Championship.
Optimizer by HHA Sports. The Optimizer Lite Ultra, voted #1 single pin adjustable sight for 10 years running. The Optimizer Speed Dial for crossbows, to-the-yard accuracy with a single reticle. And the Optimizer Horizon, offering unmatched accuracy from both short and long-range firearms. All Optimizer sight systems utilize range dial shoot technology. Ask for Optimizer at a dealer near you.
Hi, I'm Gary, and this is Bucks and Bulls Archery. Come in and shoot and try any of the top-of-the-line archery equipment in the industry. We are your #1 archery range in Stevens Point. Try before you buy so you can hit where you're aiming. Here at Bucks and Bulls Archery, 3296 Church Street, Stevens Point.
Stay warm this winter with a heated jacket from Frank's Hardware. Get your rechargeable Milwaukee Tool heated jacket in a variety of colors and styles. It's the perfect gift or something for anyone who enjoys the outdoors this fall or winter. So stop into Frank's Hardware today and get yours so you can stay comfortable before it's too cold.
This mineral is a game changer. I've put the odds in my favor. It's time to close the deal. I wouldn't change a thing. Finally, the buck of a lifetime. Real deal mineral. The results speak for themselves.
Today's closed captioning provided by Bucks and Bulls Archery, located at 3296 Church Street in Stevens Point.
Howdy folks, it's Troy again from New Life Taxidermy in Amherst. The last time we were together, we were talking about my competition piece of 2 wild turkeys on a rock waterfall. We discussed a little bit about the waterfall last time and the problems I had with the leaks and getting this thing working first before we went on to doing the turkeys. Well, now we're at the point where I've got it to where I need it right now, and next is mounting the birds. Now this week, while you were away, I ended up mounting the hen. And like I told you before, the hen was going to be drinking water in the pond at the bottom of the waterfall. So it's kind of a unique pose, and if you've ever seen a chicken or any other kind of bird drink water, you can see what they're doing there. They put their beak in the water and they tip their head back and let the gravity bring the water down into their neck. So right now, my hen is mounted. I've got it taped up and pinned, and it's drying, and every day, twice a day, I come back to this because gravity always wants to pull the feathers down, and these side pockets on the wings get covered up by the feathers down below here. And no matter, at the end of the day, I can bring them feathers up, they'll be back down in the morning. So I need to always keep doing the reverse gravity thing, because you don't want it to dry like gravity pulled it down, because the judges will dock you for that. So right now, I've got her where I want her. And the next thing, yesterday, I actually started on the tom. And of course, the tom is going to be sitting on top of the waterfall up here, looking down at the hen and strutting for her. So yesterday, I put the legs on, the drumsticks, I painted the head, cleaned the head. I've got the tail where I need it. So that in itself is about a day and a half's worth of work, probably 2 days. It took me 3/4 of a day just to paint the head. The head is very difficult on a turkey because it has a lot of little feathers. They almost look like hairs, but it's a modified feather. It's not a hair. And so you can imagine all over the top of this bird, there's black feathers. So now when you go to paint that head, you can't have those feathers painted red, white, or blue, because then it'll look like it's painted. So when you're in a division of taxidermy, especially in the masters, you cannot have overspray on anything. So you can imagine there's a lot of tedious painting going on with the turkey head. So I've got that where I want it to be. I got it on my body to make sure it fits well. Now you're thinking, oh, it's just simple putting the head on, but there is measurements on all turkeys of where this head is in conjunction with the back. So you can't have it too high, you can't have it too low, too forward, too far back. There's measurements on all of this, and that's from studying references and actually having live birds, which I do raise the wild eastern turkeys. So I do have the benefit of going outside and actually watching my birds and documenting with pictures and doing things to scale as the real turkey is doing in my pen. So I've got this where it needs to be, and the drumsticks are all done. As you can see, there's actually skin and feathers on them. It's a different technique that I use. There's no cuts in my skin on the drumsticks. So actually I pulled the skin down, took all the meat out and cleaned the bones, and then I rebuilt that drumstick back up to the shape of the original meat that came off of it. And then you slide that back up over it. I use caulk to put it on there. Well, now you don't have any seams. So when the judge comes over here and he grabs the inside of your leg, because he knows that's where all the cuts are, he's going to put his hand in there and he's going to go, well, there's no cut, which that means I did a great job, I hope, in his eyes or her eyes, whoever the judge may be. So it's basically seamless, so like the real turkey. So that's one thing I tried to do differently. But now in turn, when I put the hide on, you got to remember now I cut this off of the hide, so I have to bring that hide right back to these lines. So there's maybe, well, I know there's a lot more work involved doing it this way. But if this is on a judge's score sheet, these are points, and he can't deduct me for having a seam or feeling a seam. Now you're wondering about over here, well, you got a big seam up here now. But when you do a full strut, those wings are covering everything, and the judge isn't going to be able to get his hands up in there to feel that, because he would end up breaking my mount, and of course he doesn't want to break my mount. So if you can imagine that big wing covering all of this right here, you know, the crotch of the drumstick and the breast underneath here, you can't get your fingers up in there, so the hide goes all the way up in there, you can't feel the seam. So it's just it's a way of trying to do your best and slash fool the judges a little bit, but if it works, that's a good turkey mount. And but now today, after this, my next thing I'm doing is I'm working on the wings.
I'd like to talk a little bit about these new targets. We just got them in. I saw them at the ATA show and I had to have them because they're just a no-brainer kind of target. And they're made in Brainerd, Minnesota. Get it? They're from Brainerd, Minnesota. And I should maybe patent that. I'm going to call those guys. Anyway, when you shoot, you can shoot broadhead, field point, crossbow, anything into this target. And we've been shooting this one. We probably shot it 10, 15 times. We even shot this part. This part's not designed to shoot. It won't hurt anything. But you want to shoot the yellow part because you can replace the yellow core. And you can shoot all 6 sides of this core. So say this is starting to get shot up a little bit. You can pull it out, flip it to the next side. So you got actually 6 targets in one here. And this is a pretty dense piece of foam. And I'm going to shoot it. I'll show you how easy it is to remove your arrow. So the major thing is to shoot the yellow. Try not to shoot this. This ain't replaceable. This is 6 sides, easy arrow removal, and it's a pretty neat target. I'll shoot it one time and I'll show you how easy it is to remove the arrow from the target. And we did shoot a 400 feet per second crossbow in there. The arrow went in about maybe 3 inches and it was easy arrow removal. Okay, let's check the arrow removal. Really simple. It only went in that far. Granted, it's only about 55-pound bolt, but it only went in that far. So, self-healing foam, built in Brainerd, Minnesota. The 6-side cube, again, no brainer.
Welcome to Frank's Hardware, family owned and operated since the 1940s.
Frank's Hardware on Highway 10 East in Stevens Point not only has all of your general hardware supplies, but specializes in a wide variety of products, meeting all of your paint, lawn and garden, plumbing, electrical, and all HVAC needs.
Not only do we have a new one, but we also can show you how to fix what you already have.
Did you know Frank's Hardware also offers a large variety of services? So stop on down to Frank's Hardware in Stevens Point today.
Not only do we have great products, but we got great service.
Thank you, TJ.
No problem, Harold.
Come on, Turbo.
Optimizer by HHA Sports. The Optimizer Lite Ultra, voted #1 single pin adjustable sight for 10 years running. The Optimizer Speed Dial for crossbows, to-the-yard accuracy with a single reticle. And the Optimizer Horizon, offering unmatched accuracy from both short and long-range firearms. All Optimizer sight systems utilize range dial shoot technology. Ask for Optimizer at a dealer near you.
Real Deal G2 seeds. The results speak for themselves.
This year's 2018 Wisconsin State Taxidermy Championships are coming to Holiday Inn in Stevens Point again this year. Saturday, February 24th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. they will be open to the public, so you can come in and see their incredible artwork. Find out how you can become a member of the WTA and learn from the leaders in taxidermy. For more information, go to WTAINC.org and also find them on Facebook. See you there, Saturday, February 24th at this year's Wisconsin State Taxidermy Championship.
Hi, I'm Gary, and this is Bucks and Bulls Archery. Come in and shoot and try any of the top-of-the-line archery equipment in the industry. We are your #1 archery range in Stevens Point. Try before you buy so you can hit where you're aiming. Here at Bucks and Bulls Archery, 3296 Church Street, Stevens Point.
Today's closed captioning provided by Bucks and Bulls Archery, located at 3296 Church Street in Stevens Point.
And you can kind of see right here the patterns that are started all the way from here to the next, and it goes all the way up. So if you look at this turkey, there's a lot of feathers here and there's a lot of bars in here. In a competition, you want to show as many of those as possible all the way to the top of the shoulder, because that shows you spent a lot of time grooming and getting this feather pattern in order so it's perfect. Now, turkeys aren't perfect. I look at the one in my pen, and he'll have about 3 of them, maybe 4 bars, and then they start getting raggedy, and that's the real turkey. We're trying to be better than the real turkey. We want this thing to look perfect. So there's a lot of time invested in this. So basically what I do, since I do have the wings detached, like I did the drumsticks, I also did the wings. Now, most people don't mount their birds like this because it's probably intimidating. You'd rather have the whole thing here and stick it on and start gluing and sewing, and then it's on your bird. I like to do it separately because I can take things off and work on them separately, and when I put them back on, if you know the anatomy and where things need to be pinned and glued, it's not that big of a deal. The only major problem you can have is that I use caulk underneath the bird to recreate that fatty tissue that's underneath the skin of a turkey that has the quills in it. So when you use the caulk, you can imagine caulk and feathers and holes and things that are cut off. You could have a caulk blowout, which means when you go to press your skin on, you might have caulk seeping out of a seam that, you know, where it was cut. So you have to be real careful and conscious of that. But like I said, I'm going on the wings, and the first thing you have to do with the wings is, what I like to do is take a long pair of tweezers here, and I take these feathers and I bend them way back, almost to the point where you almost feel like you're breaking them. I mean, I'm laying them right back. You can see it, it's not hurting. And what you have to do is get this all dried off completely. Otherwise, see all the down in these turkey feathers, anywhere on the turkey where there's down, there's a reason for that down. That down fluffs the bird up and helps the feathers to stay up. If this, because everything's been washed here, and if it's moist or damp, these feathers are going to lay flatter and almost like a board. You don't want that. When a turkey's alive, you can see his feathers when he's strutting. All of them are shingled, and they all come up, and there's always a pattern. So we're trying to recreate that, and the best way to do that is the natural loft is that down feather. So you can see here how fluffy it is. And I actually blow dried this yesterday, and I thought it was dry. I came back this morning, and those down feathers actually soak up the moisture that's on the underside and the skin side, because the skin is still damp. It's the feathers that are dry. So you can see that it pulls it up, and just that little bit right there, you can see how beautiful and soft those are right there. And then when you stick your next layer down, you just look for the tallest feathers, and you bring them down, and it's almost like it's all right there in front of you to see that when you start bringing them down, see that nice black line right there? When you lay it down like that, it goes right on top of the next black line. And then you go on and so forth. You just keep going and blow the next line and bring them down. So once that is all dried, now I have my wing. And don't be afraid to shake it, because this is what birds do. Sometimes, before I even put the lines in, I'll shake the feather or the wing real good, because it'll actually start falling into place. Those feathers all have a home. They've been in a certain place all their lives. And when you do this, it kind of shakes them to where they need to be, and then you go back and dry it and tweak it with the tweezers. But once that's done, now you can imagine, here's the wing on the turkey. Get the bottle out of the way there. So basically, this wing bone is going to get put on here. I'm kind of doing this just to show you how the wings sit on here. I have to put the hide on first before I can put the wings on. But you can see how it's going to take shape once the wing is on. So, yeah, I do it in pieces, but I kind of like it that way, because if it's all one big piece, it's almost intimidating because you're trying to be careful on one section and then you forget about the other section and you're messing up feathers. Because once it's clean, you really don't want to touch feathers much. You want to kind of do everything from underneath everything and try to get it to work, because you spent all the hours in cleaning and degreasing, and I soaked these turkeys in gasoline. It gives that nice petroleum shine to them, and it also takes any residue or any leftover grease that I couldn't get out in with the initial washings. So once you do that, you want to make sure you have clean hands, wear rubber gloves, or just try not to go and touch everything and smear it up, because one part of the scoring in taxidermy is cleanliness, and it's good to have a nice clean turkey, even though turkeys are very dusty and dirty actually. But when you get it mounted, it has to be shiny and vibrant. So that's what we're trying to achieve. So I'm going to go back to trying to get this wing looking good here, and next we'll be bringing out the hide itself and fitting it on the bird and getting that situated to where it needs to be. So the next time you see me, I'll be back from Nashville. Hopefully I'll have some hardware, maybe a ribbon or two, and I'll be competing at the Holiday Inn in Stevens Point February 24th for the Wisconsin State Taxidermy Championships. Hope to see you there. Howdy folks, it's Troy again with New Life Taxidermy. It's that time of year again, the Wisconsin State Taxidermy Championships. And this year I'm throwing my hat in the ring again. I am doing a compilation of 2 wild turkeys, one drinking water and one at full strut on the top of this waterfall. So it's going to be at the Holiday Inn, February 22nd through the 25th. Saturday, February 24th, it is open to the public. It's a great time. You get to come and see some of the nation's best taxidermists and get to see some of their beautiful artwork. Some of the things you might see there could be everything from a chickadee to a full-grown grizzly. There's everything in between. Come on down on the 24th of February from 11 to 3 at the Holiday Inn in Stevens Point. You'll surely be entertained. So mark your calendar for the Wisconsin State Taxidermy Championships. February 24th, Saturday, 11 to 3. For more information, go to www.wtainc.org. See you there.